Hey, this is Mark Andrews, and welcome to the first edition of OCFOA Plays of the Week. Let me start out by saying that all the direction and instruction provided in these videos has been approved by the OCFOA instructional chairman. We're going to discuss unnecessary roughness, flagrant fouls, blocks below the waist, and horse collar fouls. Here we go. So for 2015, we're introducing some new concepts. First, we're going to talk about defenseless player. Now, defenseless player has been around for a couple of years, but we're really emphasizing the unnecessary roughness fouls against a defenseless player. Let's take a look at what the points of emphasis has to say. 2015 points of emphasis. Players need to have respect for the game and their opponents. Any action which includes identifying and taking aim on an opponent who is not aware of any pending contact increases the potential for serious injury to one or both players and must be avoided. If the contact is judged as flagrant, the offending player will be disqualified and in most states will miss the next contest. If we really look at this statement, there's a lot here. NFHS is discussing defenseless player, unnecessary roughness, and flagrant fouls. We're going to look at all of those in the upcoming clips. But first we need to talk about what unnecessary roughness is. Unnecessary roughness has always been a part of the rule book, but has rarely been called as a foul. The 2015 points of emphasis equates excessive contact with unnecessary roughness, and then goes on to delineate situations that we need to be particularly aware of. They include blindside blocks, peel back blocks, and airborne receivers attempting to secure the ball. These provide windows of opportunity for potentially dangerous contact situations to occur. Players leaving their feet, launching, and initiating contact should be penalized immediately for unnecessary or excessive contact. We've also had subsequent direction that players dipping their shoulders and launching into opponents is considered excessive and unnecessary. So NFHS has given us 3 criteria in which to evaluate unnecessary or excessive contact. They are: does a player have a legitimate chance to make a play? Does the player receive a blindside hit, and was the contact unnecessary or excessive? In the first example, the answer to all 3 questions is yes, and obviously then we have a foul for unnecessary roughness or excessive contact. This next example is making the distinction that even if you have a blindside hit, if it's not unnecessary or excessive, it's not a foul. So if we get a blindside hit with a hand block, for instance, that's legal. We're going to let it go. No foul. This next example is pretty obvious, and I'm not even sure why it was included in the points of emphasis. Basically, it says if a player has a legitimate chance to make a play and he doesn't receive a blindside hit and it's not unnecessary or excessive, it's legal. No kidding. This final example covers a foul that we've always called. Basically, a player not involved in the play is hit. It doesn't matter if it's excessive. It doesn't matter if it's a blindside. It is a personal foul. So let's get to some videotape. This first clip is from a game that my crew did, Edison versus Servite. We're going to have 2 fouls in this play. I'm just going to let it run. Watch the players that are highlighted. Now we're going to run this from several angles and in slow motion. I'm going to let you watch that one more time in real time. It's only going to freeze to highlight the players. Okay, we're going to run this again, this time slowing things down. This is a busted play. This is where typically we see these types of fouls, these peel back blocks and blindside block. Servite number 14 is going to hit Edison number 5 with a blindside block, and subsequently Servite number 66 hits Edison number 9 with a blindside block. So let's take a look at this from a different angle and also with some highlights. I will tell you that neither foul was called on this play. I saw the first foul and passed on it because I thought at the time that it wasn't severe enough to warrant a foul. I think after looking at this film, I was incorrect. So let's freeze it right here. You can see that I'm looking at the foul. And the question is, does it meet the criteria for excessive contact or unnecessary roughness? Here are the criteria that NFHS has laid out. Was this a blindside block? Absolutely. Is it unnecessary or excessive? At the time, I didn't think so, but looking at it on film, Servite number 14 delivers a blow with the shoulder. He could have used a hand block. This is excessive and unnecessary. Therefore, it meets the criteria laid out in the 2015 points of emphasis. This should have been a foul. Now, as I said, we actually had 2 fouls in this play. Watch Servite number 66 hit number 9 in the helmet. I missed this because I was concentrating on the previous foul and the ball carrier. This is a foul that I'm seeing missed a lot in film. Generally, the foul occurs ahead of the ball carrier. The flank official is concentrating on the action at the point of attack. Somebody else on the crew, most likely the back judge, needs to get this. These next 2 fouls were not missed. As a matter of fact, there are 2 flags on each foul, but I believe they are flagrant as well. I'd like you to take a look at them. But before we look at those clips, let's take a look at the definition of a flagrant foul found in Rule 2. A flagrant foul is a foul so severe or extreme that it places an opponent in danger of serious injury and or involves violations that are extremely or persistently vulgar or abusive conduct. The fouls we're going to see involve the first part of the definition, a foul so severe or extreme that it places an opponent in danger of serious injury. Flagrant fouls are also discussed in the 2015 points of emphasis. Here we're discussing a defenseless player. You'll note at the bottom it says, if the contact is judged as flagrant, the offending player will be disqualified. So here's our first example of a flagrant foul. This involves a punt. This is often again where the unnecessary roughness fouls occur. We're going to see Edison number 25 line up Canyon player number 81. He's got plenty of time to decide where he's going to hit number 81. He chooses to hit him high. There's a launch, and the hit is extreme. Extreme, yes, but is it flagrant? Let's revisit the definition of a flagrant foul. A foul so severe or extreme that it places an opponent in danger of serious injury. Let's take a look at this hit again. This is from the end zone, and I think you're going to get a really good look at how severe this hit is. I don't think there's any doubt this is a flagrant foul, and neither does Chad. We want to see this result in an ejection. This player had plenty of time to decide how he was going to deliver this hit. Watch the severity. Watch him dip and come under the chin. The hit is so severe the helmet comes off. The player is obviously hurt. He may be unconscious at this point. This is a flagrant foul. So here's a second example of a flagrant foul. This is again on a punt. You're sensing a pattern here. Watch Yorba Linda number 42 line up Valencia player number 56. We're going to see it in real time here. Now we're going to run it back from the side. I'm going to freeze it so you can see the action. Yorba Linda number 42 is going to enter the screen right at the left side. We're going to freeze it there. He's lining the player up now. He's got plenty of time to decide where he's going to hit. He delivers the blow under the chin. There's helmet contact. There is a launch. This is a flagrant foul. We're going to run this one more time from the end zone. Watch the player I just highlighted. He's the one that commits the foul. This view really illustrates how much time this player had to decide that he was going to foul this player. He's got him fully lined up. Watch the way he delivers the blow, dips the shoulder. You see the head snap back from this angle. It's really severe. One more time. We're going to slow it down even more. The player circled is Valencia number 56, the player that gets injured on this play. Watch the hit. We see the dip, the launch, strike with the crown of the helmet. This is the first concussive act. This is what Matt Sumstein refers to as a double concussive foul. 56 is going to hit the ground. His head is going to snap back. This is the potential second concussion. We've got to put a stop to this. This next play involves a flagrant foul for a block below the waist. Let's remind ourselves what a flagrant foul is. Let's take a look at the play. Now this isn't a great angle for this foul, but I'm going to run it in real time, get a first look at it. Los Amigos number 5 is going to take out the Cyprus player number 42 below the knee. As I said, you're not going to see it that well here, but when you see it from the end zone, it'll become very apparent. Here's the end zone view. Los Amigos number 5 is going to enter from the bottom of the screen. I'll freeze it and highlight him as soon as he comes in. We'll take a look at the low block. As I stated before, there wasn't a foul called on this play, so we're also going to look at why we missed it. So here comes Los Amigos number 5. I'm going to slow this down. He's going to deliver the block to number 42 right there. Comes in low. He had all day to decide to do this. He hits him not only below the waist, but below the knees. This is an illegal act. It's flagrant. We've got to get it. Now I'm going to show you why we missed it. If you look at everybody's eyes, they are not on the block. And that's not a criticism of this crew. We miss these kind of fouls a lot. What we want to do is figure out why we're missing these calls. And we're going to devote some of our future film clips to that topic. So here we see the aftermath of the block. You're going to see 42 is hurt. 5 recognizes that he hurt him, and he actually is going to try to help him up. This last play of the week involves a horse collar foul. Let's take a look at the components of a horse collar foul before we look at the clip. Rule 943K. No player or non-player shall grab the inside back or side collar of the shoulder pads or jersey of the runner and subsequently pull, backward or sideward, that opponent to the ground. So we have 3 components of a horse collar foul. One involves the collar of either the jersey or the shoulder pads. If we have a pull of any other part of the jersey or the shoulder pads, it is not a horse collar foul. The second component involves a pull backward or sideward. And what that means is if we have a hand inside the collar and the runner is pulled forward, it is not a horse collar foul. The last component is that the horse collar must bring the opponent to the ground. That means if a defender grabs the offensive player by the collar and stands him up or delays him and he's subsequently tackled by a teammate, that's not a horse collar. If the defensive player grabs the opponent by the collar and lets him go and subsequently tackles him, that's not a horse collar either. So let's take a look at this play. We've got a quarterback scrambling up the middle. He breaks away. This type of pursuit is generally where we see a horse collar foul occur. Do we have the components for a horse collar? We've got a hand inside the collar of at least the jersey, probably the shoulder pads. We'll go slowly forward. He's being dragged down backwards and to the ground. We have all 3 components. And you can see that number 1 is hurt, and that's why these fouls are illegal. That's it for our inaugural edition of OCFOA Plays of the Week. I hope you learned something. If you have any feedback for me, feel free to email me. You can find my email in Arbiter.